And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at an abstract game, in particular one in the Gipf series of games. We're going to take a look at Zertz, which of course is a two-player abstract using pieces that are much like the other pieces in the Gipf series, but this one is about capturing different colors of marbles by jumping over them on an increasingly shrinking board. So the board's going to get smaller as you play, and you're trying to capture either 3 marbles of each color, or 4 white marbles, 5 gray marbles, or 6 black marbles throughout the game, by taking different movements. So real quick, we'll see what you get inside of this box and how the game plays, and then we'll come back here and we'll get my final opinion on Zertz. So here you can see the components for Zertz. Now the playing surface is made up of 39 of these little pieces here. They're little discs on which you're going to be able to place these marbles. Now it comes with 49 of them. Sorry, it's made up of 37. It comes with 49. There are 12 more that you can use to expand the board when you're more experienced. Now the idea of the game is trying to capture these marbles. You're trying to capture either 4 white, 5 of the gray, or 6 of the black marbles, or 3 of each of them. On your turn, you have your choice of one of 2 actions. Basically, you can take any marble you want and place it anywhere out on this board. Now, when you do this, you're going to place the marble anywhere on the board, and you're going to remove any one of these circular pieces from the play area, shrinking the play area. So if you do this, you can remove any one of the ones on the outside. The rule is you can't move one if it's going to interrupt the placement of another one. So basically, you're only going to pull from the outside. This one's available, but none of these ones on the inside is available. And later, these 2 would be available, but this one would not, because it's going to move these other 2 if you try and pull it out. So if I were to do this, I would be able to pull this out. And I'm going to set this aside in order to place marbles on later when I take them. You're going to continue this way, so players at the beginning of the game are mostly going to be playing marbles out to the board and shrinking the play surface. It doesn't matter what color marble you put out, except for that you may have a strategic plan with the marbles that you're placing. So maybe you place this one out here, and you pull this piece out, and you'd set that aside to place marbles on if you took them. Now eventually you're going to be placing marbles out, you're going to force interactions, and those interactions are going to be jumping other marbles. So maybe I place this one here. Wouldn't be a great move, but not the worst move either. What this does is it forces my opponent on his next turn to make a capture, and he's going to have to capture a marble. And you'll see here, he would be able to jump this gray marble with this black marble. The color of the marble jumping doesn't matter. You can jump a gray with a gray, a black with a black, a white with a black, a white with a gray with black. It doesn't matter how you jump them. It just matters that if a marble is next to another marble, you must jump on your turn. So if I place like that and remove my disc, my next player would have to jump, and he's going to remove this gray marble. And he's going to set it on his play area. He's now captured 1 gray. If there was another jump after that, say this white had been right here instead, he would have had to make the double jump, and he would take this white and he'd place it in his play area as well. And now he's captured a gray and a white. As I said, you're going to keep going in this manner, playing either pieces out to the board and removing one of the pieces from this play area, or jumping and capturing if you have to or want to, until you capture 3 of each marble, 4 white, 5 gray, or 6 black. Now there are other ways to capture marbles, and they're a little bit unique. For example, if this marble had been here and we remove this piece, and somehow this area were to get disconnected, so that's not a great example, but let's say I placed a marble here, and then later on this piece got removed, and this piece got removed, and then this piece got removed. The player that isolated this marble area, this area with 1 marble on it and nowhere to move, would get to capture this marble. So not only would they on their turn get to place a marble and remove that last connecting piece, but they'd get to capture this marble as a default because they managed to set up a situation where they isolated a marble. Usually that's only going to happen with 1 piece, but if somehow it happened where there were 2 marbles out here and they isolated this area, they'd get to remove that one and keep both of these marbles. However, if they isolated this area like this, and only one of the 2 pieces had a marble on it, this area would actually be available for capture by a future player who could place a marble out on this space, remove 1 from the board, and now you have a completely filled, isolated area where they would capture all of these marbles for their side. As I said, you keep going on in this manner until 1 player manages to reach the ending conditions that I already mentioned, and that player will be the winner. Well, there you have it. That is Zertz. Now, it's among my favorite of the Gipf series, so it's all in all a good game. I like the shrinking board that kind of forces maneuvers, and I always like the mechanic where you can set somebody up so that they have to take a specific move so that they're not allowed to do something else on their turn. So you can set a marble out on the board, forcing your opponent to take a jump so that they can't do something else for a better move later in the game. It also kind of lends itself to setting up specific areas for isolating different marbles. So with the combination of a shrinking board and the the checkers-like mechanic, it plays out very interestingly. And on top of that, it has a couple of different variants included where you can play on a bigger board when you're more experienced, or you can play blitz modes and stuff like that. So all in all, very good game. One that I would suggest, especially to abstract fans and people who like other games in the Gipf series. If you're not a fan of abstracts or you're not a fan of checkers, you're probably not going to like the game. But it's one that I enjoy and that will be staying in my collection.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.